I think they should. Yeah, here, take this. Don't put that out. Yeah, it's-
In the sign policy, while I was out one of those meetings, I thought that was taken care of as well. I thought that was a done deal.
I don't think we've approved this.
No, we just
Not
We
sign-
talked about it.
Yeah, okay,
And then we went down to the town meeting.
okay. I just thought I saw something. Thank you. Good. Do that.
Okay, now the warehouse point fire tax. And,
I'm here for that too.
okay, yeah, chairman of the warehouse point
Yeah,
fire district.
Yeah, recently appointed the chairman of the Warehouse Point Fire. Yeah, it's not their fault. So here's the deal. Everybody knows what the deal is. I really don't care how we got to this point. We are at this point. What has happened is, the tax bills are gonna go out to the Warehouse Point site. We are gonna get $593,000 in change. We are gonna get that. And we're gonna be paying for part of, Warehouse Point people are gonna be paying part of the Broadbrook tax. There needs to be a resolution in for the future, for next year. We got 365 days to work out the agreement that we should be at today, but we didn't make it because we didn't. We're here. In addition to that, I believe that the town of East Windsor needs to pony up $593,000 needs to be given to the Warehouse Point Fire District. The Warehouse Point Fire District has to reimburse these people for the monies that we're going to collect from them this year, because we're collecting the money in these tax bills. For the last, I'm 61 years old, for the last 50 years that I know of, there's been a huge wedge between the Warehouse Point and Broadbrook side of town. But it's been melting and melting and melting and melting. And right about now, it's kind of lukewarm. I mean, everybody's, it's sort of, we're in some really nice temperate waters. If this goes through like this, and these people, we're gonna drive that wedge back through it, we need to make this right. That's my opinion, and I'd like to hear some more of this.
Yeah, John, I mean, Steve.
I said it before. All right? The town of East Windsor did not create this problem. Okay? The people from Warehouse Point Fire Department made this problem. Board of Selectmen didn't make this problem. District. Okay? They wanted a fire tax. They got it. I'll never, ever vote to give Warehouse Point Fire District a dime as long as they have that tax. Never. It shouldn't even happen, John Brown. Okay? And if those people down there, how many people showed up to vote the last time around? What did someone say, 19? Well, when they see that tax bill hit their mailbox, next time maybe they'll show up. Okay? Maybe they'll show up. The way it should be, get rid of that stupid tax down there, get rid of that district, make it the East Windsor Fire Department, and let the town support both of them. That's the fair way to go. All right, we take over the buildings, we take over the trucks, it's owned by the town, you got your Warehouse Point section, your Broadbrook section, but the town runs it, the fire guys will run it, the town will support them both like it should be. There's always been a rivalry between Broadbrook and Warehouse Point for as long as I can remember. There's always been. For some reason, it's always been. Who could have the best this and the best that and whatever. I'll never vote to give that money to them as long as there's a fire district. and they got that tax. Never. Because it's not right. It's not right. And again, us up here did not create that problem, okay? About this wedge you're talking about, okay? The fire district created that problem that's gonna make that wedge. All right, so don't come here and make us look like we're the ones that are at fault here. We're not. We're not. We shouldn't give them a dime, as long as they're taxing those people. I mean, that's how I feel about this.
I'd like to,
So I'm done.
okay, I'd like to interject. I think, you can talk, but
Sure.
first, there is definitely disagreements on this thing, and now I'm kind of glad Jason did write something on Facebook, because he wrote quite a bit about this, and I think I'd like to read that, so. It says, another item on tonight's agenda is the discussion of the Warehouse Point Fire District tax situation. I am extremely concerned that the Board of Selectmen is not aware of any discussions that have taken place between the town and the Warehouse Point Fire District since April 1st. There haven't been. If there have been conversations, it is important to bring the full Board of Selectmen into the loop as quickly as possible to avoid another year's problems. If no such discussions have taken place, they should commence quickly, as quickly as possible, to ensure that enough time remains available to address these issues that are currently in place. And he goes on. I believe there is a parity issue now in place between the two sides of town, and the pathway forward should be inclusive, open and transparent as possible. Most of the board was kept out of the loop, he's talking about, so, for far too long last time, led the issues in reaching the final solution. At this point in time, there are options available to address the problem, but they would all take time to discuss, agree to, and ultimately implement. Those options include, in my opinion, at least the following options. Create a special services district to include non-Warehouse Point Fire District sectors of town. Expand the Warehouse Point Fire District to include the entire town. I said town, he said district, but he meant town, okay. Eliminate the Warehouse Point and turn over the responsibility to provide fire protection to the town government, which is what Steve said. I am not endorsing any of these options at this time, but there are options and should be discussed. Other options that I have not thought of should be discussed and considered as well. All these things would take time, open communication to enact. I am very willing to help achieve a common goal in fairness. So that's Jason's thoughts. And I'll just add my own thoughts to what Jason said. One solution that I think John kind of said, and I've been saying ever since I found out it was illegal to tax just a third of people in town, is that Warehouse Point Fire District be put back in the budget as a line item. And I know that we did extensive work and figured out that the Broadbrook Fire Department is getting this year, if you include the fire marshal, $388,000. And if you don't include the fire marshal, $370,000. So if the town were to put a line item back in for the fire district for either 388 or 370, depending on how you want to do it, that would in fact make it equitable, and then you could go forward in that way. So that would be, and then if the fire district wanted to tax more than we gave the Broadbrook Fire Department, that would be their option. So that's another solution, but I'm not advocating it, but what I would say is, and that would be tough, because, but what I would say is all the other solutions that I see, and like Jason mentions, the Special Services District, or expanding the Warehouse Point Fire District to include the whole town, that's going to take a vote. And maybe a referendum, I don't know if you can do it in a town meeting. And I'm not sure if that's gonna pass, if that vote, but, you could always, so we might have to fall back to a line item, but I don't know if people agree with that, so we do definitely have a conundrum here. And actually, I wrote to the Board of Selectmen, I wrote an email that just outlined some of the things we're gonna talk about, the POCD, which we didn't talk about, for town fair, which we will talk about, but this is what I said. I said, should the town of East Windsor pursue equitable taxing of East Windsor residents for fire protection? If so, what approach should we take? Jason has expressed a sense of urgency to beginning addressing this problem. Does anyone else feel there's a sense of urgency to resolve this issue? Should we pursue the establishment of special services district? So
I do believe there's an urgency as the budget season will be starting all over again in a very few more months. So the sooner we can start having these conversations, the better off we will all be. I would be willing to work with the fire district, the fire departments, with Mr. Burnham, to help facilitate some kind of conversation to see. I mean, you're coming up with this idea, and but, you know, and that may be for this year, to make everything equal. And if we do that, what do we do then next year? So I guess I'm just trying to,
Too fast,
yeah, just get it down the line. I don't wanna kick the can down the road, because it's not, you know, if we do that, next year, we're gonna be sitting here doing the same thing as we are right now. So,
okay, yeah, Dave.
Okay, one thing I want to correct you, sir. The fire marshal is a town fire marshal, it is not part of the fire department.
I know
It
that.
reports, so that shouldn't be included in the Broadbrook budget, other than for your numbers you're juggling. I would be very happy to support the Warehouse Point Fire Department, not district. The district needs to go the way of the dodo bird, like it did in Stafford Springs, the way it did over in Windsor. It needs to be one town, one fire department. The two chiefs, not a problem. The two fire department entities, not a problem, under one heading, one line item in the budget. And I do also agree we need to get going. They need to back off.
Okay, this isn't really part of public
I
participation,
think
but
we
if you
do.
want to.
I can do it under, public participation.
Can you wait? Okay.
Bob, quick, as a member of the Board of Finance, can you give me the breakdown between the Broadbrook Fire Department and Fire Marshal to get to the 388,000?
Again, I should wait, but I'll answer your question. The fire marshal gets $18,000. For the town fire marshal gets paid $18,000. And the public participation, you can bring more. So, okay, we're talking about it on the Board of Selectmen, with John's included. If you want to come up here, that's fine. Or not.
Yeah, I can.
Come on, then people won't.
This is for the fire department.
So we're talking about warehouse point, fire district, fire department, tax. District,
Interchangeably, they're
Just
not.
tax.
With the
District tax.
So if we can start some lines of communication and get this resolved, I believe that the taxpayers, half of there are 2 children, 5 children in this town, really, but one of them is Broadbrook and one of them is Warehouse Point. One of them is getting a beating and the other one's getting a raise in their allowance. One that's getting a beating is not going to be happy. Somehow the town of East Windsor, which is all of us, needs to make everybody feel like they've been treated fairly, just fairly. For whatever, however we got to this point. So if we can open the lines of communication and get a resolution, I really don't particularly care what it is. If everybody agrees and it works, terrific. We have, Gail, you're right, we have 2 paths. We have to correct what happened this year, because this is gonna go the way it's going. And we have to make it not so it doesn't happen next year, in the future. That's it. So we just need to, I don't know, we're gonna stay on the agenda for every selectmen's meeting until we get this hammered, or we're gonna do subcommittees, or how we gonna do this?
Yeah, that's a good question, and that's why I think,
that's why I mentioned the subcommittee. I would be willing to sit with I'd like to be part of that subcommittee. I believe we need a person from the Board of Finance on that subcommittee.
Okay.
Obviously, yourself, the chiefs, I mean, we need, because
Yeah.
they run the fire departments. I'm just sitting here, I don't,
Well, I'd just say that I think any solution except putting a line item in would require some legal help.
and it's gonna require going to town meeting for that kind of money and all kinds of things. It's not, and that's why I'm saying it's better to start now than
Oh, I agree,
later.
I agree,
Yeah.
I agree.
But you gotta remember one thing, they tried forming a district in Broadbrook, which was one of your ideas here, what, 10, 11 years ago? And that was so hostile, I thought the lynching mob was coming out.
It's
They
a
had to
different-
shut the meeting down, it was just too hostile to
It's
be
a
there.
different time now, and I think that the chiefs have been working together.
It's not the
self-pledgedly.
fire departments, it's the taxpayers, Dale.
I get that, but
The
it's,
fire departments work fine together. It's the funding is the problem. It's nothing to do with the fire departments.
but it's all about what they need to do their job. I don't know
That's not a
what
problem.
they need to do their job.
The mechanism is the problem. It's not the funding. At least it never has been with me.
So,
It's the mechanism.
So to back up the bus just a little bit, and before I
Okay.
get to Stephen's comment. Somewhere along the line, from when I retired as selectman till today, the Board of Selectmen talked to the Warehouse Point Fire Department, and somehow they decided to do the district thing again and not be funded by the town. I wasn't around for that particular thing. So that's where that broke loose. It came loose off of this table, I believe. And here we are today. So that's a little bit of history.
Yeah,
So-
maybe, I have no problem with the subcommittee. You want me and you
Yeah.
to try to start a subcommittee? Does
Yeah.
any Dale want to be involved too? Why don't the three of us start working on
chiefs.
this?
and I think the chiefs, again, I mean, they know what they
Chairman of
need.
the commission and let
Go ahead.
the
What do you
chief,
think?
let the chief take care of the firefighting like he does.
Well, this,
So not have the chiefs.
No.
well,
Why?
let all three of us get on the same page and then we'll bring in people we need.
That's two commissioners.
Want to do that, Dale? Or what do you-
That's fine, I
Have to
still,
have two commissioners and two selectmen?
Yeah,
You guys okay with that to start?
that's a good start.
That's a start.
That's a start. And-
So that's fine, and then we can expand it from there.
Right.
And we can
okay,
present
so
formulated
when's our
ideas.
first
What
meeting?
keeps 14 people out of the equation?
I agree. It's a good point. So please come forward with any type
Well,
of.
you know,
You've heard mine.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Need a Board of Finance member?
No, I mean,
I
if you
wanted-
keep going,
I did
you'll
say
end
a
up
Board
with
of
an
Finance
unmanageable
How many
group.
people?
I mentioned having a Board of Finance member because it's gonna come down to that.
Yes,
Steve Smith just raised his hand and said, thank you, he will accept the position. So that's our Board of
well,
Finance.
that's fine, and Steve, that would be good, but maybe we should check with the chairman of the Board of Finance. Maybe the Board of Finance should choose a representative. Maybe not, I don't know.
If you can get a volunteer,
That's
take
really
it.
right, Bob.
That's my opinion. I don't think Geraldine would have a
I don't know
problem.
if Steve volunteered or not volunteered.
Okay, let me talk to Geraldine. If she says Steve's fine, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
So the last Monday of the
meeting-
month works for me.
Yeah, okay?
The fourth Monday of the month works for me. Does that work for you guys?
Okay, I have jury duty in Hartford this Monday.
You'll be honest.
Okay, 7 o'clock?
You'll be okay. Fourth Monday, does it work for you?
What do you want
Okay,
to
so
do?
what are we saying?
John, you got a meeting Monday.
Except for that.
Is that Park Hill Housing Authority?
What he said. Except for this month. I have a meeting on Monday.
What about Wednesday, the 29th?
That's fine.
No,
No?
no,
Okay.
unless you, well, you do it at 7:30.
So we're not gonna do it on the 30th.
7:30,
Yeah.
We got some-
Wednesday at 7:30?
yeah.
Wednesday, the 29th at 7:30.
Yep.
Steve?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll see if I can drag one more commissioner, or maybe my treasurer.
Keep the same one, though.
Let's see.
So that's a yes then,
Continuity, John.
Pardon?
on the
I'm just trying to come up with
volunteer?
something.
And I just want to know where you want this meeting to happen.
Right here, if you got it, or you can do it at the firehouse if you wanna do it there.
They got the keys.
Yeah, we can be smaller. We can do it even in one of the offices if we have.
Okay.
Okay.
If this is
Sure.
not available.
Yeah. It's open?
29th of June?
Yes,
Yeah, it's open.
Okay, good. Let's
So-
start.
At 7:30 here.
Okay.
Okay.
Wednesday, June 29th at 7:30, firehouse meeting here at the town meeting.
You good?
good.
We'll start there. Start.
That's a place to start.
Start.
Okay, having finished that, we move on to 10C, which is resolution of endorsement and authorization for uniform chart of accounts. And in your package, you have some information about that. Basically, what that is the state wanted the town to use their software package, and the town treasurer transferred over to that package, and the state offered us a grant for $14,000 to do that, and we paid for the software, but the state was a little slow, so now they need my signature on the form rather than Denise's, so all we have to do is authorize it.
Okay, so this is for the same AccuFund as it was for
Same
the
AccuFund.
previous.
Yes.
Okay.
We just haven't got the money yet.
I make a motion to have our first selectman sign the uniform chart of accounts, resolution of endorsement and authorization.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
According to the vote, too, it has to be done.
Oh, yeah, so it's unanimous, and it's, I guess, 4-0. Bravo.
It makes it unanimous for members present, but yeah, that needs to be on your form.
Okay, discussion of four-town parade. And basically, what it comes down to is, do you want to ride in a vehicle or do you want to walk? Mark?
There's no way in God's green earth I'm walking.
Okay. All right, so we've got to get a vehicle. That's okay, that answers this question. I don't
That's
think
a
we-
long parade.
There's wagons and tractors around. Oh, yeah, that's, you don't wanna, we usually toss candy too, I don't know. if
Yeah,
they kick that on
candy
ourselves.
and dog biscuits.
Yeah, that's right, we're the popular people, we're the dog biscuits. All the time. That's a walk.
That's a walk.
It is a walk.
I
So-
drove it.
Okay, so we've answered that question. I think we
That's a
go on
yes.
to the,
Well, you need to send it in that you're coming to.
yeah.
I don't know, who's the sponsor town this year, does anybody know?
Ellington.
Ellington this year, okay,
I thought I read that somewhere.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's usually you never know where you're gonna be, so.
Okay.
You have to let them know what we're gonna put in there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
tractor, yeah. you need
Tractor
to-
or wagon, one way or the other. Depends what color you want.
Okay, appointments for town clerk. So we hired a new assistant town clerk, and her name is Joan D. Hunt. And so we're going to have to approve Joan D. Hunt for assistant town clerk and approve her for assistant registrar of vital statistics. So I could have a motion.
I'll make a motion to affirm the appointments that the town clerk made of Joan D. Hunt for the assistant town clerk and assistant registrar of vital statistics.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
All right,
Aye.
because technically the town clerk appoints those, and we just endorsed it.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't appoint those. Let's have that discussion.
Okay. Then to the added agenda item,
No,
no?
we got, make a motion to approve the tax
Oh, yes.
refunds in the amount of $645.80 per was submitted.
Second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now,
Now, human resources. Judy Hill.
Yeah, I was sitting at a Board of Finance meeting, and we were discussing packages for new employees, new hires. And at some point in time, Kim had come out and said that Amanda was working by herself, okay, without any assistance. I think that kind of puts us in a bad light. She's not qualified, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to take anything away from you. You do a great job and you're working your tail off, and I know you're going to school to do this. So I give you a lot of kudos, especially having a little one at home. But puts the town in a light that I feel that it could open us up to some litigation if we're not properly training and being trained.
Okay, a couple things. One, the only difference between when I took office and now is that Judy Hill is coming in less frequently. And she said to me, Bob, if I'm not needed, I just don't want to come in and sit here. And I said, fine, then do what you want, and we'll, as long as we can call you when you're needed. And she agreed. She said, that's the way I want it to be. And so, indeed, Amanda is taking over the human resources very much. She's doing all the insurance work. She's doing, when we get a new hire, she has all the paper, fills out all the paperwork for them, sits in on the hiring process. So Judy's Hill's available if we need her, but we haven't run into a situation.
I wasn't, it didn't, during the conversation at the meeting, it did not sound like that she was even still on staff, so that's why I wanted to bring it up. I wanted to make sure
Good question, but
I understood.
yeah, I want to encourage though everybody to call me, especially the Board of Selectmen, if you have questions like that, because bringing them up, things like that raise questions in people's minds that really aren't relevant. And then there's rumor spread, and to get information sometimes from the Board of Finance, Geraldine and I have not talked since I took office. I've never talked to the chairman of the Board of Finance, so I think that's improving. But I think we've got to have better communications in our board and throughout the whole town, really, a lot of the other boards. Okay. Now, selectmen reports. And Jason's not here.
Oh, but he is. Hold on. Okay. I apologize for missing tonight's selectmen's meeting. I am recovering from surgery and will be out of commission for a while. I want to start off by thanking Police Commissioner Bob Leach for his efforts in putting out signs announcing the budget vote on 6/14. He certainly did more to reach out to the public than any other person or group that I am aware of, including the town. Again, Jason's words. Since our last selectmen's meeting, the pension board has met twice. We have adjusted our return assumptions down from 7 to 6.5%, adopting a more conservative assumption based upon the market trends and actuarial projections. John Burnham and I have made several visits to the subdivision concerning Barbara Hill School. We've already gone through that, so I'm not going to repeat that again. On 6/16, the Talent Celebration Committee, we've already heard that. Discussion of the plan of conservation and development is listed on tonight's agenda. I have attended most of the POCD workshops over the last 2.5 years. The Planning and Zoning Commission has done a truly remarkable job putting together a 10-year plan for the town that is truly a vision for how we should be moving forward as a community. Their process has been incredulously inclusive, allowing anyone to participate and to weigh in on the formulation of the plan. I fully support the work that they have done thus far and would suggest that in some spirit of inclusion, a public hearing be scheduled as soon as possible to solicit feedback from the general public one more time. Bob had read the information on the Warehouse Point Fire District, and several months ago, we talked about a potential noise ordinance update. Has anything become of that? I'm hopeful that by this point in time, there would be something in the selectmen to review. There are a couple of outstanding issues that I'd ask the first selectman to update us on. Where do we stand on the South Road delinquent rent issue? Where do we stand in terms of the Broadbrook Mill remediation, which you just talked about? Has an offer been extended to DEEP or the property owner to attend the selectmen's meeting? I'd appreciate these answers to these questions from Town Hall ahead of the next selectmen's meeting.
Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
Good sense. He hollered loud, you could hear him.
Okay.
Dale, you're next. Unless you want to take a break.
I haven't been here, so I'm gonna just mumble on real quick. National Day of Prayer. That was 5/6 at noon. I believe this was the 6th year that they've had this event in the town of East Windsor. I'm proud to say that I've been in attendance of most. This year I was asked to read the proclamation from Governor Malloy. State of Connecticut, by His Excellency Daniel P. Malloy, Governor, an official statement. Whereas this year's annual observance of the National Day of Prayer will be held May 5th, 2016, and whereas a joint resolution of the United States Congress in 1952 established an annual day for prayer, which was signed into law by President Harry S. Truman, and whereas a declaration was amended in 1988 by both the House of Congress and signed by President Ronald Reagan, setting the permanent date for the National Day of Prayer on the first Thursday of May each year. And whereas on this day we reflect upon the freedom and the prosperity enjoyed by both the state of Connecticut and our nation, therefore I, Daniel P. Malloy, Governor of the state of Connecticut, do hereby officially proclaim May 5th, 2016 as a National Day of Prayer in the state of Connecticut. And that with it, that was the invitation. Okay. All right, Historical Commission. The commission invited Ruth Shapley Brown from the Connecticut Gravestone Network. She discussed the origin of stones from the ornate design and the script at the Scannick Cemetery. I have some information if anyone's interested. It was amazing, the stone, she knew where it came from, the designs on them and different things, and all of that is in here. Whether it was a child, whether it was a mother, father, whatever. It was very interesting. I stayed for a couple of hours. Okay, 6/6, Warehouse Point Fire District. Well, we're just gonna leave that one alone. 6/15, Board of Finance. Several issues were discussed, which I found very interesting. I was not aware, the part-time lady in HR, which we just discussed. 6/20, Volunteer Incentive Committee. Warehouse Point Fire District used, that's department, isn't it, not district? The incentive program? It's department, okay, apologize. Used $12,450 with 2 weeks left in the budget. The board approved Ron to sign off and send to the treasurer's office after they received the last 2 weeks of the year. Broadbrook Fire Department used $17,687 for the end of the fiscal year. With all calculations, it appears the committee found itself under budget by about $39,000. That will allow Broadbrook Fire District to get an invoice for their investment fund because they are behind by over $100,000. Based upon what transpires with the Warehouse Point Fire District, volunteer incentives set their appointment meetings for next year, for this coming year. We may not need them, but Ron Masters has them published. Personal comments. My husband has been in St. Francis congestive care heart failure from May 13th to the 27th. He had to return to the cardio ICU from June 7th to June 10th. Presently, he's feeling well and back to most of his daily routine, being a pain in the butt. With that said, my liaison duties were kind of pushed aside. I'm going to restate what I believe my duties are. Warehouse Point Fire District, the first Monday of the month. Broadbrook Fire Department, first Thursday of the month. Board of Ed, the second and fourth Wednesday of the month. Housing Authority, third Monday of the month, right? Volunteer incentive is quarterly. I resigned my duties on WPCA and the police commission because they were in conflict with the BOE. I believe, Steve, you are the appointee for that? I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. And I don't know who is the appointee for the police
I
commission.
commission, police commission.
I just haven't heard anything, so I just wanted to make sure I was not expected to be reporting on those. That was my purpose. Because it got a little muddled for a while there, so I just wanted to make sure my responsibilities were taken care of.
Okay. Mr. Kennedy.
Well, I gotta wing some of it because I see Dale taking notes at the Board of Finance, so I didn't take many, but I'll wing it. It wouldn't be as good as hers, but glad to hear Cliff's doing better and being a real pain in the neck.
Yeah, there you go.
That means he's healthy.
Right.
Okay, on the 14th, we went to the Planning and Zoning Commission, was a fairly limited meeting. Newbury Village requests release of partial bonds, Blue Heron Way and Red Fox Trail in the amount of $17,700. Because I guess the work is finished, you got a street now, Bob?
No.
Really? Okay, well, they released it. And recycle concrete products, Herb Holland, everybody knows it has, 1-year renewal on the permit to operate the volume reduction facility. Calamar is supposed to be coming to their next meeting to discuss text amendments that they need to proceed with their development project. POCD is done, and it's to the Board of Selectmen. She really wanted to get it passed so she could keep going on it, but since she told Bob that she was gonna put it off, I guess that changed. Okay, Board of Finance, like I said, I didn't take really good notes. They approved, and engaged the auditor for next year. Financial reports were taken, and the transfers were discussed and done. They set the mill rate for 2017. They did not have to make any changes at this point to the budget because it's as passed. So there was no 2% default. And the supplemental appropriation for the cash registers was approved. So our accountability should get a little better. Then we go on the 16th to the American Heritage River. Water in the Scannick River is low, like everywhere else. The river is clear of obstructions from Sabonis down to Wicket Bridge, which probably nobody knows where it is, except John and Paul. It's about halfway down the Scannick River from Woolham Road to the South Windsor line. There used to be an old bridge that went across town properties on one side, the old town farm. Then there's a roadway up, and it does come out on Scannick Road. Don't try it with your car. Bridge is gone. E. coli testing is ongoing in 5 places. The river condition signs are in place, and you can see them. The Melrose end was voting only. The other 2 locations were great. Filterblatt area trail was cleared by Ethos Energy. Connecticut Trails Day, they had 8 people turned out in the rain, so that's a pretty good turnout. Cardboard boat race, not much press on it yet. To be held 6/28, river permitting, and they were gonna list it their current.
6/26.
26, oh, excuse me, I stand corrected. Okay, the June work party was gonna be at the Filterbed area for obvious reasons. Scannick River Watershed Authority is gonna have a moonlight paddle, July 16th at, 7 o'clock at sites? Summersville Pond. I guess they have quite a turnout, and they will have a food pantry collection. As far as the water collection, the water testing, the JI had a very good article on that in last night's paper. Really, really extensive and well done. I suggest anybody that's interested should try to read that. And we got the building commission. Broadbrook modulars are moving forward. Some extras need to be resolved. Contract for the dumpster pad and stairs was approved after quite a little discussion. It's still probably the best way to go. It's going to be time and materials, but not to exceed $35,000. The Alliance grant, the burners, office, and bathroom contracts have been awarded. The air conditioning contract was reviewed. We only had 1 bidder. It's a qualified bidder, and it's within budget, so that was approved. The kitchen still has to be awarded. They're working on it. The windows will be rebid with a different schedule as no bids were received. And that's it.
Okay, the next one is me. I should be last, but I'm not tonight.
Hey, you changed it, Bob.
I don't know if it's me, but, I only have one thing to report, and that is to answer Jason's question. The South Road delinquent rent, still have 5 homes that are delinquent in rent, and for a total of $2,296.
2000 what?
$2,296. But they're all, some are more than others.
Yeah.
And that's all, and then we go on to Steve.
I had some comments, but I'm not gonna talk about it tonight. I have nothing to report.
Okay. Public participation, Marie.
Yeah, Maria Susan Tenreyser. Three things. The first thing, since you brought it up, about South Road, there was actually 6 that were delinquent. One house is under bank ownership right now, and there's someone in between the owner and there, so there's nothing we can do about that in town. But all but one individual has started to pay something on the arrears. They haven't finished it in totality. We collected, I think, an additional $336. So the letters that were sent out have gotten some individuals to pay what they owed and staying current. So that's a plus. So now the rest of you is what you want to do with that. But at least some are now paying what they owe. Not sure what they can do with the arrears, but I know at least 2 of them have been paying on the arrears also. So that's a good thing. The second thing is, it's been noticed that there's a lot of paving of the roads around town. And although some people appreciate it, some people are jealous. Rice Road, few residents being one of those. We have concern at the end of Rice Road since they did the sewer lines. There's all of a sudden a puddle of water when you come out to 140 on the left-hand side. It's quite large. It just stagnates there for days until it dries up. Concern for the wintertime because it's icy, concern now. Question has come to me and I don't know the answer. I guess back years ago when the water lines were put down Rice Road, there was a bond issue with somebody by the name of Hinkley, and that money was supposed to be used to repave Rice Road. So if somebody could check into that and see where that is and see if Rice Road is on the list. So at least take care of the water issue at the end because that's concerning. And then the other thing, I worked the budget process this year down at Town Hall Annex as a moderator. And a lot of people throughout the 3 budget cycles were coming in asking questions in regards to Broadwood Fire Department and the warehouse plant. We told them very politely that unfortunately the only thing we can tell them is that this is what the budget is and that's all we know. We can't get into anything else for this violation of state statute. That if they had any questions, Ms. Dabney, they could go online, they could call the Selectmen's office, or they could go out and talk to somebody that they know to get some information. But there was a lot of the sidestepping in the mouth as they were walking out. I think my take on, for whatever it's worth, my take on the issue, it's not an issue with the 500 whatever thousand was approved by the Warehouse Point Fire Department for them to do what they need to do, or the money that been allocated to the Broadbrook Fire Department of $388. That's what it takes for them to run the business. Where the problem lies, and what we're hearing, the Warehouse Point residents felt that they're being double taxed. They're under the impression, however, they're under the impression, if somebody stopped me and said that they were told that the error was going to be fixed next year. To sit and banter about what happened and how it happened, you're just wasting valuable time. I think you need to move forward, you need to come up with a solution as to how Warehouse Point residents are going to be recouped next year properly. Because you can't have 2 years in a row where they're paying for their own fire district, plus because the Broadbrook is part of the town government budget, that they're paying that bill. There's got to be a way somehow to sit down collectively without finger pointing and rehashing where the error happened or how it happened, bottom line is, it happened. But you can't go another year. State legislature, unfortunately, their cycle doesn't match our budget cycles. If my understanding of fire districts are accurate, you have to have legislative approval. I was at several of the meetings at Broadbrook years ago when they wanted to become a tax district themselves, and it was a disaster. People were just walking on, because they were so dissatisfied and just got dropped. So there's got to be some mechanism, some legal avenue, so that the Warehouse Point, because I frankly, if I lived in Warehouse Point, I'd be minus what that percentage is, and I wouldn't be paying it. I don't feel I should be double taxed if I was on that side of town, and there's a lot of me out there. So that's what you have to look at. You have to look at a resolution to make it proper. Doesn't matter whose fault, doesn't matter how you arrive at it, as long as you arrive at it. So good luck with that task.
I'd like to respond to just one thing, the Rice Road water issue, if you could send me an email with the details you've outlined, that'd be great, and that would help get the problem solved.
Yeah, comment on it.
Okay, yeah.
I was approached by somebody on Rice Road about that problem you were talking about, with that contractor. And I was told, I don't know, this is what I was told, so it's not gospel, but this contractor, when they did that work, he was supposed to pave that road.
And he told you.
Yes, he told the selectmen at that time, I'm not paving the road, keep my bond money. So I guess I can ask Bob, can you find out where that bond money went?
Okay,
If it was supposed to be fixing that road, where did it go?
okay.
That was for Newberry Roads.
I was
Well,
told-
that
Or
was-
not Newberry, I mean, Winkler.
Well,
That was for Winkler Road, and he forfeited the bond, which was about 10% of what it cost to fix the
I
mess.
was told this was for the.
No, it was for Winkler, it was for Winkler, and coming around from Rice Road, because
Different project.
Hinckley was running his mouth at that time, and I don't know who he told, nor do I care. But he said it was cheaper for him to relinquish the bond than it
Give
was
us
to
the
pay
bond
the
and
roads.
walk away.
The bond was too
The
cheap.
bond was too cheap.
The bond was too cheap, I heard.
Was on Winkler too.
But the bottom line, you know, at this point,
We'll
I
have to
don't care.
find out,
I don't care where that
I'm
money is.
sure the
I don't
bond is-
care personally if the road gets paved or not. I just want that water problem to be
I'm
corrected
sure the
before
bond has
somebody
been
gets into
released
an
now.
accident.
That's been, what, 5 years ago? How long ago did you get water? About 5 years ago, that bond's gotta be released by now.
It was removed.
No, the contract. If there was no defects in the workmanship, it was released back to the contract. That's the way it works.
okay,
I'll send you.
more public participation. Yeah.
Talking about the fire departments, I've listened to the conversation, and it seems to me we're trying to concentrate on the money. And I think that's putting the cart before the horse. We have some suggestions from the league to the two selectmen. We talk about the fact that we should be looking first and foremost in creating one fire department for the town, and find out with some legal assistance, the process that this town should go forth. And once we've consolidated into one fire department, then the money takes care of itself. Then the money has to follow as everything else we do in town.
Thank you. Steve?
I'm not expecting a response from the Board of Selectmen, but to correct something you made about not having a discussion with your own. You've been before the Board of Finance on several occasions during the budget item. I invited you to attend the last Board of Finance budget meeting with your plan that you said you had at the last Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen meeting for the fire department about something about the fire marshal. I understand that you were here. I saw you come in the door June 15th. We didn't see you as the Board of Finance here. And Geraldine sent an email to you at 3 p.m. today saying, come to the next Board of Finance meeting. Not that I expect you would have gotten to that email or read it, but she did respond to it at 3 o'clock today.
And
I have a discussion with
And
her.
I responded to her 3 o'clock email saying, I'll be there.
Okay, we look forward to seeing you, having that discussion with you at that point.
Cindy?
Cindy Harms, 12 Hamlet Court, Broadbrook. I was just concerned of what you said about not having a conversation with the chairman of Joan Corso and with yourself. And I just would respectfully like to remind you that Mrs. Corso is a volunteer for the town, and she volunteers her time for the town. And there should be conversations between you guys. And we greatly missed when we had the former first selectman coming to the Board of Finance meetings. We were able to clear up many, many items before they went any further than a question. So we do miss your presence there, and it would be just nice to see that. It would help, like, not have the question about like human resources and stuff.
Good point, you make a good point. Thank you. Any more? Yeah, Tom.
Tom Salamini, 23 Grace Road. I'm sorry, I missed when the POCD meeting was gonna be.
July 19th.
July 9th. That's why I missed it. Too many dates came out, I got messed up. Thank you.
Any more public participation? Jim Richards.
I'm a little stronger than my other Board of Finance members. I came onto the Board of Finance and the first thing I saw was that the first selectman had created a 2 mill rate taxes, which is illegal by state law. The second thing is the Board of Finance, we do miss Cindy's being there. Cindy is absolutely correct. Luckily, Dale, Jason, and Dick availed themselves to many of our meetings, and so we did try to get answers. I think the innuendos from the first selectman, he ought to take a look at his own eye before he casts out and judges others.
Thank you. Any more public participation? Okay.
Make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Connecticut statute 116.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
One.
Yeah, you're right.